Alright, today is Musou May Day 2, and I'm going to do Fate External Link today. Now, I had a little bit of a troubled history with this game. Back when it came out, I actually applied for a key from Xseed. They were actually very nice, and they gave me the key. But, as you all know, this port has a lot of issues. It still does. It seems like it's working fine for me right now, but even on my stream yesterday where I had to test things out, I had some problems. Like, the game was running at like 300 FPS, and the game has no built-in frame rate limiters, so I had to go into control panel and limit it to 120 FPS. Basically, when this game came out on the PC, the dash button did not work. It worked randomly, so that's one of your main defensive mechanics in this game is dashing around or through or away from attacks, and you couldn't even do that. There was also a lot of intermittent stuttering as well. It seems like I fixed that for now. The dash was fixed about a month in. It took them at least a few weeks to fix it, if I remember correctly. Meanwhile, I had actually been at my local game store. We have a locally owned game store here where our fighting game tournaments were held for a while, and they actually had the Switch version early, and I had just gotten paid from kitty sitting, so I went ahead and bought it there. I actually did pretty much everything on the Switch version. Within reason, this game does not really have a lot of content. It's also very easy to break. If it's the kind of game where you want to do like maximization and stuff, you probably will have to do something a little bit more unique than the hardest content, because the hardest content is just two of the big hyper armored final boss in one room, and there's really easy ways to break that as well. So I didn't really have a lot of fun with this game in terms of maximization, but playing it casually was quite fun. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more today. Alright, I'm a little under leveled for these, so I think I'm going to go into the story. It actually is not a bad port by any means. It just had the stuttering and the dash button not working kind of ruined it in some ways. But they did fix some of those things in time.
こんなものを拾ったのだが、わしには不要よ。使ってくれ。さあ、今日も月の練習。
No, he's actually in pretty good shape right now. Alright, I don't think he needs to be tweaked at the moment. Alright, let's get into a fight. Sorry, I have to run this in borderless windowed mode to make it work at all. So, unfortunately, sometimes the mouse pointer is going to be on the screen. When I put it in full screen, it starts to freak out. When I put it in borderless full screen, it just works randomly. Very weird.
もはやここは我らの聖地なのです。ああ、くそ。敵さんの柵にはまったようだ。閉じ込められちまったぞ。ちょいと雲行きが怪しいですわ。救援とか頼みたいところですわ。
ロビンさんが強がっていますね。シールドを解除して合流しましょう。
I heard the first game of this had like really bad pacing, it was very repetitive and slow. They definitely fixed that here. I just feel like they could make the normal attacks a little bit more worthwhile. The game's a little slow too, like your character isn't as responsive as you'd like for, you know, a Musou game. Cancels don't come out as quickly as you'd like. But I still had a lot of fun with this game, especially on the Switch. I liked it enough to, I optimized a couple characters. Like, some characters have pretty decent charge attacks, but for the most part, you're pretty much just going to be chaining them into R1s all the time, which can make things feel a little bit shallow. This game is very fun to play, though. It's just not something you can really put a lot of time into unless you really like it. Ironically, at the time, the Switch version was more stable. The Switch version runs at 30 FPS pretty much locked all the time, which is pretty crazy considering how much is going on. There's no kind of performance mode for the Switch version, but it runs more than good enough for what it needs to be doing. And I was getting really bad intermittent stuttering at the time. That's why I actually contemplated doing my Switch file for this video, but I don't think anybody really cares. I'm just kind of having some casual fun here for this event. Buddy Swillow is actually doing a Musou May as well. I'm curious what games he's going to play. Probably a lot of the same things. See how much I'm dashing right now? Back when this came out, the dash would come out like maybe 25% of the time. It was not pleasant. I have to wonder how something like that didn't get caught in QA. The cutscenes in this game are really aggravating, though. You get in a QTE and then it takes you out to show you something you're just going to skip. Best way to break this game is to just make like one really good character, optimize them, and then just go through the extra missions, because those give you really good, what are they called, mystic codes? And those are basically like your armor. Once you have some of those, you get like a ridiculous stat boost. Like there was one that made the final map just completely trivial. I had no problems with it at all.
いやもう嬉しい。その調子で進むがよい。至急ライダーを撃破してください。攻撃を止めてプリーズ。
まだ耐えられているけどそう長くは持たないかもしれない。承知。
至急ライダーを撃破してください。攻撃を止めてプリーズ。
そっちはさすがだな。その調子でさっさと片付けてくれよ。はいやせいやせい
ライダーを撃破してください。攻撃を止めてプリーズ。いやもう嬉しい。その調子で進むがよい。
嵐の王、亡霊の群れ、ワイルドハントの始まりだ。
攻めるより守る方が楽ですわ。
楽しませてくれるね。いいよ、マッチ勝負といこう。
どうか。
負けちまったかい。ああ、みっともない様見せちまったね。
攻撃も止まりますね。よかった。ご主人様への脅威が減ります。
They only put out one DLC character for this game too, which I find kind of weird. It's like some lolly or something.
いやもう嬉しい。
Feels like this is kind of the perfect game set up for like consistent post-launch support, because I know the franchise that this is based on has like tons and tons of characters. But they put out one character and then they drop support. That's very weird. Kind of uncommon these days. Normally, especially with Musou games, you expect tons and tons of DLC, so much that when you're looking to buy a new one and there's just like pages and pages of DLC and you don't know like what's included and what isn't, and like what actually adds something to the gameplay and what's just a, you know, a dumb costume or something. Very odd that they just kind of they did a one and done with this game. I'm not gonna pay for some lolly. Could have added someone more interesting at least.
制圧お疲れ様。さあ残りもやっちゃいましょう。
進もうとしろ。こっちに敵襲発生だ。いざとなったら援護を頼む。逃がすか。進化。どうか。
絶対に許せません。私にも一発蹴っ飛ばさせてくださいまし。
防衛成功ですかい。防御は最大の攻撃ってね。かけろアサシン。逃がすか。進化。承知。どうか。
お見事です。これで敵の増援は全滅です。
ありがとう。助かったよ。開門。
出ましたね。敵の司令官ですよ。あいつを倒せば作戦完了です。
あともう一息だ。行くぞ。召集。攻撃。
Alright, time to take out the googly eye guy, and then I'm all clear. The levels in this actually flow quite well. Generally, if you're taking all the bases and you complete the objectives, the levels actually aren't too long. There are some that are kind of annoying. Generally, any one where the cannon is firing and you have to protect the protagonist guy. Game looks a little washed out. Maybe I can like turn off some of the brightness or something, but seems like it's working fine. It's not stuttering for me anymore, so that's good. Kind of feel bad that I got a key for this and I ended up just playing it on the Switch because that was the version that was working at the time. Now that it's kind of a dry period, maybe I'll come back and play this some more. So like I said, generally you want to just max out whoever your favorite is, get them really good gear, and then just go through the extra missions because that's where a lot of the broken stuff is. Alright, that's gonna do it for me. That's another video for Musou. I actually cleared both the story modes in this on the Switch version. I had a couple optimized characters. Maybe I'll do some maximization for this. It's just kind of difficult because the game is so easy to break, and I don't really think this game ever had much of a community. There wasn't really like a community accepted like maximization level or anything. Maybe I'll find one and I'll see what I can do there. Unfortunately, the gear in this game is not terribly interesting. Most of it is just more damage. The most interesting stuff that you can put on your character is the ones that make it so that certain different types of moves, all the R1s have different classifications. Those different classifications can actually be set to activate the QTEs, which gives you some more combo possibilities. And everything else is just generic more damage, which is not really the kind of thing that keeps me interested. But the Mystic Codes actually give you some pretty cool stuff as well, like always having jacked up attack speed always helps too. So yeah, that's another day of Musou. I'm not sure what tomorrow's game will hold, but I guess you guys will see in due time. Thanks for watching. Also, if you want to support me, my links are in the description. Peace.